All right. We have the advantage of coming right after lunch, so everyone is fed. No one's staring at the door wondering when they're going to get their next meal. Perfect. So today's topic is going to be digital personalization, standing on the cutting edge. I'm going to be your moderator for today. My name's Eddie Patzsch, VP of Revenue at Optimove, based in our New York City office. I'm excited to host today's panel. We're going to dive into all things digital personalization, cutting-edge strategies that are being used by our peers, being used by the experts in the room. And we have three wonderful Optimove customers here with me today that I'd love to introduce. So starting first with Kathy Gash. Kathy's the Senior CRM Manager at AirUp, first hydration system that flavors water through scent alone, which you could see it right there.
Right here.
Kathy leads a team focused on activations and conversions. Kathy, welcome.
Thank you, thank you.
And Maria Grigorova, Head of CRM and Personalization at the Rank Group, a leading international digital gaming company. Prior to joining Rank, Maria spent time in the gaming world with Entain and the GVC Group. Maria, excited to have you here with us.
Thank you.
And JP Miranda, CRM lead for Fontem. They are a subsidiary of Imperial Brands, the makers of the Blue e-cigarette. JP leads a team of 4 CRM marketers and is a first-time attendee here at Connect. So thanks for making it down.
Thanks to you.
So to kick off today's panel, I'd like to open with a quote. It comes from a relatively unknown small American entrepreneur named Jeff Bezos. So Amazon obviously has customer experience at the heart of their DNA. Customer centricity is their mission. But this quote in particular stood out to me, so I'm going to read it to you. And he said, "We see our customers as invited guests to a party, and we are the hosts. It's our job every day to make every important aspect of the customer experience a little bit better. So we see our customers as invited guests to a party." Now, at our dinner party as CRM marketers, we have the benefit, the advantage of cutting-edge technology and leading solutions. The technology acts as the sous chef or the co-host to our dinner party. Before our guests arrive, we know what dishes they're likely going to enjoy and appreciate. We know what dietary restrictions they might have that we might want to avoid. We also know our adventurous friends that are coming over that are more willing to try the new dish that I've made for them today, even though it looks nothing like the picture from the recipe, which tends to happen to me way more frequently than I like to admit. But every bite at that dinner and every note of music that we decide to play during the evening can be custom tailored and a full experience for our guests. And taking that theme and translating it into what we all do here, and we think about things like personalized onboarding experiences, an offline to online connection, testing, analyzing, or culinary experimentation, if you will. There's a lot of that theme that I want to carry through. So stick with me on it, savor it, and we'll kick it off. So the first question I do want to pose to the panel here is just generally, when we say standing on the cutting edge of marketing, what does that mean to you? And so Maria, we'll start with you.
Well, to me, it's definitely about recognizing customers, understanding what they are looking for, and finding ways to deliver best experience to them. I worked in personalization for many years and tested different solutions. So we started from some content personalization. So if we make an analogy with the dinner party, it's what you're going to serve to those customers, who likes what, and recognizing them. So if you walk into your favorite bar, chances are they are going to know what is your favorite drink, and they will offer it to you without even asking. So this is content personalization. But later on, we moved into personalized timing. So what was discussed earlier today, real time, not necessarily real time, but relevant time. And now, if we think about dinner party, say my industry is about casinos, we have some clubs, we have some customers who come to play with us online. Party never ends, and I get much better chances that my customers will join the party if I invite them at the relevant time. So we recognize what is the time when they will be likely to play with us, and we send messages with the relevant content at the time when they will be more likely to engage. And this comes with some behavioral triggers. So when customers are on site, it comes with some predictive models when they're expected to come, and we check in real time, are they there? Are they playing online? If not, then we bring them in. And we've seen a really great response from that, much better than when we send it at the time that works best for us.
The party never ends over Maria's over there.
Come and join.
Yeah. Kathy, what about you?
I think it's really about going with the times and looking at innovation as well. We've heard a lot about AI, OptiGenie, ChatGPT, and so on. And going also with what Maria said about content, you can really like personalize there. If you use ChatGPT, it's way faster, positionless marketeer, and so on, what we've all heard. Way more efficient, but also really like personalizing and also using, for example, like AI or anything like that, to finding the right moment, just like Maria said, or the right personalization technique, what channels the customers prefer, and so on. So really going there with the time and innovation.
JP?
Yeah, for me it's a bit of a mix what my colleagues mentioned, but what's important is going to the theme that we are talking. We need to understand how to welcome these guests to our dinner, right? So we need to be a good host, right? Welcome them, and then try to engage with them, right? After engage is like, okay, what are the interesting points or topics we want to talk about? And after that is what are the right tools we should use in the right moment. So it's understanding our audience, right? It's looking to them, okay, split them into two different personas. But know exactly what is the relevant content or the right timing, but as well what is the right tool. So I would say that it's a bit A/B testing. Not everyone is equal or the same. So I would say welcome, engage, and try to retain them somehow.
And that A/B testing the strategy you have, how has that changed for you at Fontem in the last 12 months, let's say, or in the last 2 years?
It changed a lot and continue to change. So at Fontem we have two different propositions, two different brands. Until September last year, we had a lot of focus on launching new markets, the new propositions to the markets, right? So our main goal was launching new markets. And now we enter in the performance side. So we left a bit the foundation side, and now what is the milestone, what is the extra mile we can achieve? And together with my team that is present here, we are working really hard, right, on this performance mentality, where we can create impact versus value. And we have a strategic plan in place where we define a lot of what are the A/B tests we want to do, but having goals and KPIs behind, right? So, and we want to plan this across the different quarters of the year, but be really strategic. And some A/B tests will not get the result that we want, but that's why we call it A/B test. So it's important to plan in time, understand what is the goal, what is the KPI, and just launch it. Don't be afraid of it.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, that kind of brings me into the next part. So we talked a little bit about what being in the cutting edge means to you individually. But you think about your time spent like at Fontem and your organizations. What are the things that you feel like you're doing at your company now that do feel cutting edge? And typically these are things that initially felt super uncomfortable to implement, or it required a lot of internal stakeholder buy-in. But Kathy, what comes to mind when I say that?
So we started really implementing a really personalized onboarding journey, for example. And yeah, that's a lot of stakeholder management there as well. But yeah, going off the water bottle company, so after somebody buys, and usually we expect the first purchase is the water bottle, we ask them why did they purchase with us. Is it to stay hydrated? Is it a gift for somebody? Is it for their kids? We have a huge parents kids market here. And then really tailor their onboarding and their retention or like ongoing journey as well. So we have like an exit survey where they can answer. And then if they clicked, for example, hydration, we can send them reminders, we can send them trackers, we can send them just tips on hydration or anything. So maybe more elaborate, going back to that dinner party, if you would ask your guests after they sign up to your dinner party, like what are you most excited about? What are your dietary restrictions? You would know, for example, if I'm a carnivore and I like red meat, I would most likely drink red wine, or I'm coming maybe with my kids, so you could offer a kids menu. So I think that's really been a big win for us, even though hard to implement, as you can imagine. But I think that's really something that will really benefit.
Is Air also going to be launching the mystery flavor box, similar to the Nespresso?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maria?
Yeah, to me, there was quite a lot of struggle because we completely changed our ways of working when we implemented OptiX technology. And we use it both for hyper-personalization on-site and for CRM channels. When it comes to on-site personalization, there was a lot of frustration from stakeholders at first, especially those who take care of commercial contracts. When we released our experiences with the personalized casino lobby, where each customer will see their own order of the games, game categories, there is no lobby where one looks like another. It's a bit like Netflix. Each of us will see our own version of the homepage. So stakeholders were literally shocked. They were like, Maria, but where is this game? Where is that game? It should be at this position. It should be at that position. I'm like, no, it should be at the position that is right for each particular customer. And when they noticed the improved game launch rate, when they noticed that customers engage with this product much better, they understood that this is the way forward, but it took some time. You need to be brave to implement new ways of working. And on the CRM side, I must admit that it was more about getting my own team on board, because people get comfortable with the traditional ways of working. If you always used to a bit of copy-pasting, planning something, BU, maybe submitting your request to copywriters, to design, blah, blah, blah. When I implement fully dynamic solution where one email does not look like another, when we focus more on automation, it requires completely different skill set. And yes, they saw the results. They saw that it brings 3 times more players to the site, but it took some time. And I remember with the sports use cases, for example, we've got some fantastic personalized real-time triggers with very rich content, say for Cheltenham Festival. And when I demonstrated it to our sports team, at first they were like, but what about our promo emails that we planned? What if customer won't get this offer? And I'm like, what is your offer uptake rate? If you want to serve, say, herring to each of your guests, and they might be, not into it, you won't have very successful party, right? So offer them a choice, or rather approach customer with something that they like.
And on that, so the communication and the way you operate internally with other teams. So when you're talking directly to the core marketing team, how did that shift and how did that change in that process? Are you also bringing new innovative ways of being able to work with them? Does the marketless, positionless marketer theme ring true in any of that as well?
You know what, I've been in the gaming industry for 17 years, and each time something new comes up, I don't know how about other industries, there is this point, I heard discussions, oh, do we need a mobile version of the website? Who is going to play online on mobile when smartphones first came up? And now we're talking, do we need AI or not? How about this hyper-personalization? Maybe we'll be good with old ways. So I think people take some time to observe new practices, but definitely in the past few years, it's now becomes our new reality, and people, when they experience it themselves with different companies, that when they know that personalization works better, it saves your time. As a user, nowadays we don't spend so much time on a particular website. If you can't find what you're looking for, you will leave. You will go elsewhere where you get better experience. So stakeholders are also human. They also use different products. And now they understand value of hyper-personalization better. And obviously, they see commercial results as well.
100%. Well, what about what comes next? So Rusty mentioned the next best experience, the future strategies, also future technology. But when we consider the cutting edge, what would you like to see next? Kathy, why don't we have you kick us off there?
Yeah, so for us, actually, we've used a lot the actions from Optimove, and we've used them more like a tagging system, a content tag system. So it's really about like balancing content, and again, going back, for example, to this exit survey, if you know somebody likes red wine, you would send them a couple more mails about red wine, or maybe cross-selling them to beer or white wine or anything like that. And with this kind of like content tagging system that you can use, you can really balance your content, but also kind of like seek out the areas that they prefer. And again, I think here we can leverage a lot AI or any future technology that could be used.
Bonus question. Outside of our industry, which of these three companies does it best? Booking.com, Spotify, or Netflix?
For me, Amazon.
Ah, so you know of Jeff. You've heard of Jeff Bezos.
Yes.
Okay.
I heard so.
What about you?
Yeah, I would say probably Booking. I mean, I'm based in Amsterdam also, great fan of Booking. So maybe that's personal preference, but they really personalize your experience on their website, in their app, with their emails. It's very, very really great customer journey every time. And every time they add something new, like flights, it seems almost seamless.
Mm-hmm.
Same to me. I love their loyalty scheme. I love the CRM. Ages ago, I was wondering, how do they do it? How do they have this dynamic content? Surely nobody requests the images for each particular email. And this actually inspired me to look for solutions to change ways of working for my companies, because I wanted to be as relevant. I wanted to be as good. And eventually I found a solution. We were talking about some smaller segments where you might target only 50 players with particular email. Thinking back about dinner parties, imagine you need to bake cakes and you bake a cake only for 2 people because they like this particular flavor. I'm looking for solutions that allow me to bake maybe some basic cakes and then allow people to choose their fillers. So I think about use cases that will be applicable to larger scale of customers. So for Booking.com, it would be customer visited certain hotel page, was looking for hotel in specific area, didn't book, then boom, you send them email. And no emails look the same, right? Because you probably looked for hotels in London, I looked for hotels in Costa Rica, and we'll get different recommendations depending on what we bought before, where we stayed before, and all that. So I applied the same to the gaming, where I have placeholders within my email, and I have a library of pretty standard journeys, but each email will be unique. Each customer will receive their unique combination of the content, and timing will be unique to their actions.
And how small do those audiences get for you? When you say when you're having the sub-segments, are we talking like the example?
No, those are big segments, but the difference is that each customer will receive unique variation of the email. So I have some always-on campaigns that run in real time, and every day different set of customers will fall under this particular scenario.
Very nice. Do you, either of you, operate in a similar structure and something on that?
Similar, but yeah, in our case, I'm in a different stage at my colleagues. I think on the personalization as a client, we are in the discovery and exploration phase. So the leadership team knows what is the value. The question is when we start with personalization. But in meantime, we in the team, we do our own personalization initiatives, of course. But the idea is move to the next level. But yeah, we make some testing internally.
Nice. Okay, good.
But yeah, we are not yet with the AI, the OptiX or real-time track and trigger. We are getting there. But for me, it's more the learning, to understand what should be the right target audience, learn with them, and see if you can create an impact or no.
And each of you are obviously, some of you are using one Optimove product, some are using multiple, but when you think about ways for the audience here on ways to optimize Optimove, to move as an organization to the cutting edge of marketing, what are some tips that you could provide to the group here?
I can start.
Yeah.
Data. So
data
is one important topic on both sides. So both client, both platform as Optimove. The other one I would say is about collaboration. Partnership, right? We need to be in the same boat, understand what are the business needs. Every client is different, but understand, okay, what are the targets, what are the KPIs you want to achieve. So data, partnership. And the other one is work with a process, right? So in the process you need different steps, there are different objectives that needs to be done. But yeah, I think these three should be.
Yeah, that does work. Kathy?
Works.
It works.
I would say kind of like diversity that offers personalization. So really using we've heard about so many channels that Optimove offers, to kind of like using all of these channels to also kind of like address the preferences of each customer, and also diversifying your content. So just like you said, like what we are doing is in the different life cycles, we have different content libraries, and then Optimove decides which content piece goes to which customer at which time. So really using that power of Optimove and having this variety of content and channels that then the system can use and pick personalization to every customer's preference.
And how long has the product been live?
We're quite young with Optimove now. I think we've been live not even a year.
Okay.
So, and there again, just like we heard before, rely on your colleagues, rely on the IT team, on digital product and so on, all of the stakeholders involved, and the customer success managers from Optimove to really see where can you go and where can you go beyond it just being a tool.
Yeah, that's strong tip. So for others that are just getting started, Kathy, it's still fresh in her mind. You can find her later, and she will give those tips. Maria.
Totally agree with my colleagues. Really great points. And I would probably start with exactly the same order to complement what they said and add extra tips. Stay curious. When we talk about this positionless marketing, even if you're not executing campaigns daily, even if you're not building your selections, do it from time to time to be on top of the game, to know the tool, and to challenge your team to know the tool and to use all the new features, because Optimove is one of the platforms that constantly evolves, constantly brings new features. So make sure that your team gets the best out of it and stay in the game and see what others are doing and implement the best out.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully at Optimove you have the benefit of being able to work with our team. But what about outside of Optimove, just the industry as a whole, the trends that are happening? How do the three of you stay up to date? There's 11,000 different vendors we learned today. So you can have a meeting with each one and get as much information as you can get. I'm sure there's a much better way to do it. One thing that I remember in our conversation last week, Maria, you said be brave. And so when you said be brave, what did you mean?
Well, it was more about implementing new technologies, implementing new ways of working, like what I said about OptX. Not everybody was on board when I first brought it in, but eventually people start using it and they start seeing benefits of new technology with their own eyes. But then when it comes to keeping an eye on the market, it's all about following your competitors. It's all about staying curious. I'm sure all of you subscribe for all type of emails and other messages say yes to everything pretty much. But it's not only about your industry. I work in gambling, but when I go to fashion websites, I actually think, okay, how do they do their personalization? How do they do their real-time messaging on-site, offline? What kind of recommendations they send? And then sometimes I Google what technology they might use, or even inspect their site and see what do they have at the background. And then I can create my own top list.
Kathy?
Yeah, totally agree on this. What I've learned here is that just like you said, stay curious and really don't just look at your competitors. Of course, you can copy whatever they're already doing, but learn from different industry, from different business models. Like we're in a totally, completely different industry, and even the way we're working, our OKRs, our goals are very different. And yet, I've learned so much from all of the panels, from all of the presentations, and so on. So, I would totally go along, staying curious, and maybe also just giving things a try and being brave, being fearless, and you don't have to do it with all of the audience, you know. Test first, but like within reason, stay fearless.
For sure.
Yeah, for me, I try to do this, and I mentioned a lot of times my team. I think people are important, right? So within the team, everyone has the freedom to bring new ideas, to be curious, to challenge each other. So it's about collaboration, right, at the end. The other thing you can do is always, as you were mentioning, there is a lot of really nice initiatives and ideas we had here in 2 days that really trigger me like, oh, we could implement this. This is not so different, right? So you always learn from different industries, right? But be curious and then take ownership. Don't be afraid to launch an idea. Don't be afraid to look for benchmarks. Don't be afraid to look for other industries. But yeah, be brave, take the ownership, let's do this. And then there is leads, there is people, let's find the right stakeholders to support this, how we move forward, right? But I will say to my team, and they liked it, like, do whatever you want, because you are the expert, right? So we are always there to guide each other. And if something needs to be needed or needs to be approved, we are there to help. But yeah, take the ownership. Go for it.
So after a couple days here, you go back. You've got a ton of ideas ready to go, right? You want to be curious. You want to go test things. Yesterday, during Neil Hoyne, when he spoke, I believe he mentioned that only 5% of decisions are based on data in the marketing organization. Do you think that is true? I mean, would you relate to that, or do you feel like your team is operating, decisions are being made at a much higher rate than that 5%?
It's a tricky question, I would say. No, so for us, when we bring our own initiatives as a team, of course we are really focused on data, on reporting and on analysis. So initiative that comes from us, we always try, okay, this is what we see, this is what we recommend to improve. But company-wise, no, I think more and more companies, especially the industry I work in, is based on data. The question is the data accurate? Do we have the relevant data? Are we looking to the right data? So data can be misunderstanding sometimes. So
Sure.
no, I would say, yeah, sometimes bring ideas. Sometimes there is no data behind. You don't know what will happen, right? But when you have, make use of it.
Right.
So yeah, depends a bit.
What about you, Kathy?
Yeah, I actually heard before that you make the decision to do something before you even look at the data. Then you just find data and results to back it up.
Support your decision.
And I think I find myself also doing that more and more, but I think it's more about the idea comes from something creative. So from, for example, listening to people, talking to people, collaboration. And then kind of like the improvements or the optimization comes through data. So I think they go hand in hand, and yeah, you need both kind of like to succeed, right? You need that creativity and that freedom, yet, however, it has to go along with data, because if it doesn't work, well, then why still have it? Or even the other way around. If you see good data coming, then you can really optimize there with even more creativity.
To me, it's more of a continuous improvement cycle. So we release a test, we learn from this test, then we move on, we change another element, and we keep the winning solution, but we always try to achieve even better results with our testing. And I remember that you can't find solution one fits all. So if you found the ingredient that worked for your cocktails, you can't put it into salads and say this is the winning ingredient and everybody loved it. And then there will be always a group of your customers who dislike this ingredient, so you need to find something else for them. I think my company is quite in a good state when it comes to testing and learning from our tests, but we should give certain reasonable doubt to ourselves and remember that we're dealing with the humans and we won't find a golden solution to everything.
Yeah. Really appreciate you holding on to my dinner analogy right through the end. So thank you everyone for sitting in with us. So